Ladies and gentlemen, Boy George is here.
Hey!
Good morning.
Good morning.
You look fabulous.
Thank you. I thought I'd dress up, because you never know with the radio, do you?
Well, this is it.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Is my hat big enough?
Yeah, and you know what? I like it.
Yeah.
It's not one of your more outrageous hats.
Well, they're the new ones. They're new ones I'm wearing. They're kind of I like these ones.
We were talking about your hats the other day. Pippa, what were you saying? You were trying to guess how many hats.
I bought 4 hats yesterday.
Did you? Oh, I might not
on
be far
foul
off.
swoop.
I
I went to 2 stores, bought 4 hats.
You must get sent, though, a lot of hats.
No. The thing
Really?
is, in fact, I was in a hat shop yesterday, Child of the Jago, and they said, do you get discount? And I was like, well, I don't mind discount, but I'm still going to buy the hat because I
Right.
want it.
Yeah.
They never kind of think to ask for things like that.
What, a discount?
No.
Wow, really?
No, it's not very British, is it? Do you know what I mean?
That's because you've got...
It's more Greek.
You've got a gazillion pounds. That's why it is. You don't.
I've got a really good Greek friend who just looks at me appalled if I don't ask for discounts. What's wrong with you? You should be rolling around on the floor. I'm like, I just can't do it.
Haggle.
Well, look, we've got so much to talk to you about. I'm really pleased you came in. We're obviously the Voice is huge, and we're about to go into the live shows on the Voice.
Exciting.
And of course, the Voice is recorded like ages ago, so you must be really excited to get back in and do it live.
Yeah, well, with the last sort of week or so, we've been getting ready for the first quarter-final.
Right.
So we're getting ready to my final 3, who were described as a bunch of freaks by the Daily Star.
Oh, you must be very proud.
Well, I just thought, a lot of people, there was things online, people saying, oh, I chose them because of the way they look. No, I didn't, actually. It's just a coincidence that they dress up a bit.
So, just to point out how big Culture Club were, the last album that you did out of the 4, which was the least successful album, it was the beginning of the end, and it was essentially all over. The least successful Culture Club album sold over 1 million copies.
Wow.
Now that shows you,
Amazing.
and that was when people went, maybe it's all over. 1 million copies.
No, wouldn't we love that now?
Holy wow.
Yeah.
You can go to number 1 now with like 25,000 copies sold.
But back in the 80s, we used to hear these stories like, oh, Michael Jackson's last album only sold 30 million. Oh, it's terrible. It's like, it's all subjective, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It said that in an interview that you used to sit and hang outside David Bowie's house.
I did, yeah. Haddon Hall in Beckenham.
Look at that.
It was the place. Well, first of all, what actually happened was my older brother sent me to develop some film in the chemist's. And I was at the chemist with, I think £2 or whatever I had at the time. And I was standing there talking to some friends, and suddenly I turned around and I saw a bus and it said Beckenham. And I knew that Bowie lived in Beckenham, so I thought, I could get this film developed, so I'd go to Beckenham. I knew that I'd probably get a good kick in when I got back, but I thought it would be worth it, so I got on the bus.
Wow.
Went to
brilliant.
Beckenham and met these kind of older kind of Bowie, like proper Bowie fans, like all dressed up, amazing, like Angie Bowie clones, proper Bowie, like, amazing. It was like, oh my God. So I used to go every Sunday and hang out with these kind of older freaks, and they loved me. They were kind of their little toy. But yeah, the first few times I went there, I was told, obviously, I wasn't allowed to go back, and, I was always find a way to go. And there was this one particular day when Angie Bowie opened the window and told us to F off. And we were so happy. It was like, because, back then, like, fans knew their place. It was like, she just talked to us.
Yeah.
She opened the window and she goes, why don't you all bleep, bleep? It was hilarious. And in fact, I got to tell David Bowie that story once at dinner. And he was so funny, and he goes, that's probably the most interesting thing she ever said.
Boy George is here. You released Karma Chameleon before the album, I think.
Not sure about that.
Trust me, you did.
Okay.
I'm all over it. I've got a way better memory of this time than you have, and I wasn't even there.
It's probably true.
Karma Chameleon goes absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, when I first sang Karma Chameleon to the other guys, I was in Roy's flat over in by Olympia.
Right.
In this little flat that he was living in, and they all started like banging pots and pans and doing cowboy sort of Indian noises, going yeah, and they were like, they hated it, and it was the last thing to be recorded for the album.
Right.
And I had to literally kind of force them to record it. I was like, no, it has to be. I knew it was going to be a hit. I didn't know it was going to be number one for 9 weeks, but I knew it was going to be a hit.
Number one in 16 countries.
Wow.
But here it was like literally like, oh my God, it got to the point where I was like, please stop playing it. Because it was just like relentless. I mean, because, back in the day, things, would stay in the charts,
I want to talk about Band-Aid very quickly because now the original story I heard was they'd asked you to do it and you went, yeah, great, I'll do it. So I'm in New York, fine. You need to get on a plane. Yeah, fine. Now I can't work out whether, I think you were playing Madison Square Garden the night before.
Yeah, no, it was 2 nights before.
Right, okay.
And I was staying in New York to kind of relax after, it was the end of a tour. We'd just done a big tour and we'd finished at Madison Square Gardens.
Which is huge in itself.
And I flown my mum and dad over and all my family. So we were in New York, we were going to hang out for a few days. And I get this phone call at like 3 a.m. from Bob Geldof, who I've never met. Right. But I know he's Irish, so I'm going to talk to him, He's a fellow Irishman, so I thought, well, it's Bob Geldof, he's Irish. And he's going on about this thing he's doing. And to be honest, it's like I'm half asleep, so I can't really know what he's talking about. But I know that he wants me to come back to London. He said, can you come back tomorrow? And I was like, oh, yeah, I think so. So I basically, in the morning, spoke to my manager and he said, oh, it's this. No one really knew what it was.
Yeah.
But, and nobody was really on board. It was just like, it's this thing that's happening in London. Everyone's going to be there. You'd be a fool not to be there. So I flew back on Concorde.
But the story I heard was you missed the original flight.
That's possible. I was always missing flights in the 80s.
and Geldof calls you and literally goes, where are you? You're the only one not here.
I think I got I think there was only one flight on Concorde and I got it. And I got back to London like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. So I got in a car, went to Sarm. And when I arrived at Sarm, there really wasn't that many people there. It was Simon Le Bon was there. I think Status Quo were there. There was a couple of other people there. And then it started. Literally, it was like, it just started to, oh my God, you literally couldn't move for like rock bands and all these different people. It was so bonkers, and everyone was being super nice. That was what was really fun. All these people that slagged each other off. Hi, how are you?
But how is your ego in a moment like that?
In those moments, though, Chris, you kind of just realise everyone's just a person.
Right.
That's the thing about those sort of, because it's sort of a muck-in situation where literally, I walked into the studio. Bob Geldof said, "Here's your line. Listen to it. Go and sing it." There was no preparation.
Yeah.
You walked out barely knowing what you were going to sing. You didn't know who was before you, who after you, and you just had to get on with it. And, you kind of just think, oh, yeah, there's so-and-so over there, but they're just another person.
But are you looking at...
Surprisingly.
Are you looking at Status Quo going, oh, my God, it's them naff boys?
I loved Status Quo.
Really?
Paper Plane was one of the greatest records in the 70s. Are you crazy? Love Status Quo.
I
hate that. No, but I mean, we all love Status Quo. Come on.
Yeah, but I love Status Quo.
Paper Plane. I mean, that was like one of my favourite records in the 70s. I used to play it over and over.
Anyway, Voice of the Weekend. Thank you, George. Lovely to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Boy George. Hey.